Today's Memorial Day, a day to honor the fallen and not the living. It was first established on 30 May 1868 and originally known as Decoration Day. On May 5th, 1868, General John Logan, leader of an organization for Northern Civil War veterans, called for a nationwide day of remembrance. The 30th of May, 1868 is designated for the purpose of strewing with flowers or otherwise decorating the graves of comrades who died in defense of their country during the late rebellion and whose bodies now line almost every city, village, and hamlet, churchyard in the land he proclaimed. This is the day we remember our men and women who've paid the ultimate sacrifice for you and I. On the first floor of this magnificent Capitol, you can view pictures of some of the over 250 Illinois men and women who gave their lives in the line of duty. Names like Captain Steele, Sergeant B.J. Luxmore, Sergeant First Class Worley, Sergeant Patch, Sergeant PFC Lufkin, Sergeant Riney, Senior Airman Miller, Petty Officer Hall, and Sergeant Leaf. It's said if you say a name, their memory lives on. I want to recognize any Gold Star families who may be here with us today. If you could please wave to us down here. Their families made the ultimate sacrifice. I would like to share a couple stories of heroic friends I lost while serving in Iraq from July 2007 to June 2008. Air Force Staff Sergeant Christopher Frost died on 4 March 2008 while serving with the Multinational Security Transition Command, Iraq, Operation Iraqi Freedom. He was assigned to the 377th Air Base Wing, Kirkland, New Mexico. He worked with the base's Public Affairs Office, which he continued to do in Iraq. Staff Sergeant Frost and I had several discussions, and we conducted a few interviews during our tours. I'm sure just like any news reporter, Staff Sergeant Frost wanted to get the big scoop. He told me he always enjoyed it when an article he sent over to American papers were picked up and his stories were told. During this time in Iraq, American Army helicopter pilots trained Iraqi soldiers to fly Soviet Mi-17 HIP helicopters. As with all helicopter training flights, the crew consisted of a mix of American and Iraqi soldiers in each aircraft, with the Americans serving as commander. On 4 March, a pair of Mi-17 HIP helicopters departed on a training flight. At the turnaround or midpoint, the pair made a routine stop. At this point, the Iraqi wanted to demonstrate to the Americans they were capable of flying an aircraft by themselves. I'm sure Staff Sergeant Frost, seeking the big scoop, is why he volunteered to ride with the first all-Iraqi crew. While returning to base, the 2 aircraft encountered a terrible sandstorm, and the Iraqi crew aircraft was lost. I recall hearing the news and made my way into the satellite imagery room as they frantically looked for the downed aircraft. Unfortunately, because of the sandstorm, they were unable to find the crash scene until daylight the next hour. Later, the crash site was found and ground troops reported all on board were killed. Staff Sergeant Frost is survived by his wife, Ashley, a daughter, and a son. Colonel Stephen Scott and Major Stuart Wolfer were killed on 6 April 2008. I worked with Colonel Scott on a daily basis, coordinating equipment distribution for the Iraqi Army. Major Wolfer, a reservist and lawyer by trade, he worked in the logistics section, coordinating transportation for military personnel. Both officers were killed when a Katyusha rocket hit the fitness center that Sunday morning where they were working out. When we held their memorial service at Phoenix Base, Colonel Scott, a Christian, Major Wolfer of the Jewish faith. So the memorial service included a Christian chaplain, a rabbi, and an Iraqi imam. A fitness center at Redstone Arsenal, Huntsville, Alabama, is named in Colonel Scott's honor. He is survived by 2 daughters. Major Wolfer is survived by his wife and 3 daughters. Together we honor those we love, we honor those we've lost, we honor those who have served, and we pay tribute to those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice for all of us to enjoy our freedom. Jane Addams, a great American and an Illinoisan, in a speech called Greatness and Commemoration, was once asked, and I quote, "What is it we admire about the soldier? It is certainly not that he goes into battle. What we admire about the soldier is that he has the power of losing his own life for the life of a larger cause, that he holds his personal suffering of no account, that he flings down in rage of battle his all and says, I will stand or fall with this cause. That, it seems to me, is a glorious thing we most admire. In recognition of today's Memorial Day, I would like to request all resolutions naming a highway, roads, buildings, or structures in honor of a service member sacrificing their life for our great country and state receive appropriate consideration in the appropriate chamber so that their name can be mentioned again and their memories will carry on. So today, remember those who died for us to preserve our freedoms and the way of life. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
In honor of Memorial Day and those that paid the ultimate sacrifice, the body will take a moment of silence.